Well, hello there, it's good to see you. Out here today to fly a brand new little mini drone and run it through its paces, and this is the Specta Mini. And I can hear you saying, but wait, didn't you just review another drone called Specta? And you're smart because yes, I did, but that was the Specta Air. And the Specta Air was identical in look and function to the DJI Air 3. If you didn't see that video, I'll put a link up here and in the description, so you can go take a look at that after you're done with this one. And you might ask, and rightfully so, is Cogito up to something again? I mean, since the Specta Air is identical to the Air 3, is the Specta Mini like anything else? Well, since you asked, this is indeed a dead ringer for the DJI Mini 2. And if this works, it'll be a great addition to the lower cost 4K mini drone market that we have now. So let's check it out and see if this is truly the DJI Mini 2 reincarnated, shall we? And of course, the specs are what we'd expect in a kind of professional mini drone like this. A full 3-axis gimbal, GPS, return to home, a decent camera, of course, with 4K 30 video at least, 12 megapixel photos, a 6-mile range, 31-minute battery life, and it has smart functions like the Droney, Circle, Helix, Rocket, and Boomerang, has a camera zoom. Okay, you get the idea. And I'm going to be using a drone tablet today because it is simply nicer to have it super bright when it's sunshine like this. And it's a little bigger, it's easier to see as well. Now it really doesn't get much more stable than this. This is perfect, just like we'd expect from a model that is probably a DJI under the hood here. So this is fantastic and can't really ask for much more than this. So that being said, let's take it up, check out some of this video footage, see what it looks like. Now all these camera settings are in auto, just so we can see what it looks like straight out of the camera. And one thing I always like to do is do a manual orbit as well, just to see if it's stable and the sticks control nice or not. It's doing a real nice job. Again, because this camera is in auto, you do see the exposure moving a little bit, but you tell me what you think this looks like. It seems pretty decent to me. And as long as I'm here, I might as well do the zoom. Let's just see what that does here. We have this fire pit here, and we click on the button. Should give us a 2x. Seems pretty reasonable to me. Now hopefully this is recorded on the SD card and it's just not on our display here. And one thing we always want to make sure is that we have decent horizon tilt. So I'm going to spin back and forth, and it looks pretty good so far. I don't see anything here that's a problem at all. Looks like it's staying pretty decent. And because we only have this one battery, I'm going to do a little bit of a range test. And of course, we can only go to visual line of sight, so I can't go out to the full 6 miles or whatever it says, but I will go out a little bit just to make sure we don't have any breakup or anything like that. So, okay, and so far it's really nice. No problems at all here. And that's about it. I'm going to have to turn around here, but the screen looks super solid. I don't have any issues whatsoever. Looks like I still have a decent battery left, almost 60%. So we're coming back here straight at us. And since we're here, let's do a couple of the quick shots. Let's do an orbit first. Make sure we're high enough that we don't run into anything, but I think we're in pretty good shape here. So there it goes. All right, orbit's looking good. Let's do a boomerang, see what that looks like. And start. That thing is definitely moving out, that's for sure. It is screaming. But there is no follow mode on here, which is unfortunate because that is such a feature that is so sought after. DJI started doing that on these lower models, and before you say that's because they don't have obstacle avoidance on it, that's not true. right? They can have a follow mode on a drone without obstacle avoidance. I believe every Holy Stone, the Seafly, the POTENSIC, kind of take your pick. All these small drones do not have obstacle avoidance. They can do an active track or a visual follow, and they can do a GPS follow. So it already has the visual, we know it can see us. It already has GPS because we know that it knows where it is. So there's no reason other than a choice to have you purchase a more expensive model that they wouldn't include it on a model like this. So because it's so good, the quality of the video is so good, it flies so good. If you get everything, including all that, what's the point of upgrading to a higher model, right? So it's just a choice it's just a marketing choice they make, which I disagree with. So, and let's take a couple of pictures to see what those look like. Now we are getting the notice that there is a low battery, which is good. We want to test that for a couple of reasons. One, we want to see how the precision landing works, how close it gets to the pad. But we also want to check the battery life itself. Now I know I did put a module on this, which does add a little bit of weight, so probably will reduce the battery life a little bit. But I'm going to do another flight, and I'll put that information up here, not only what we get for this flight, but I'm going to take a separate flight without the module. I'll take that one as a recreational pilot, and I'm just going to see what the battery life is without that module. So we'll have a nice comparison. And before I forget, if you're enjoying this video or learned something that you didn't know before, take a second and click that like button. I really do appreciate it. It really helps me out. And you can see where we landed here. It's maybe 5 or 6 feet off the pad. Not too bad. We've had a lot worse than that for sure. So let's go back into the studio. I'll let you know my final thoughts, what comes in the box, pricing, all that kind of stuff. And then I want to talk about ducks a little bit. Welcome back to the studio. That was a great flyer, wasn't it? I did have a chance to go through the footage and do a few more tests that I didn't show in the video, and I'll talk about those shortly. So let's get to the things I think they got right. First, the stability is excellent. You saw when we did that hover test, it sat right in place. Very nice. The controllability. It is a great flyer. The manual orbit worked just fine. The stick proportionality is just right, and you can adjust the stick response in the app, so well done. Next, the control distance is really good. You saw that we took it out to VLOS limits, and we still had clean FPV transmission and control, no issues there. Next, the gimbal stability was good. No horizon tilt in our test, did not see any jello or jitter in the video. It just looked good. Also, the camera and video quality looked good. We have 4K 30 video with 12 megapixel photos, and they look good, but with only a 1/2.3 CMOS sensor, it won't be the best in lower light scenarios, but with good lighting, I think it looks decent. And of course, there are some things that I wish they would do a little better. And first, the control modes are a little light. The quick shots that are available are decent, but notably absent were the waypoints and any type of follow mode. And as I mentioned earlier, the lack of follow mode is not because of the lack of obstacle avoidance, even though that's what DJI says about it. It's simply a product lineup decision. Now, since Specta only has these two models, the Air and the Mini, there's no reason they couldn't add a few more of these desired functions. If they were to add these, I think it would even be more attractive to the drone community. Next, this model does have geofencing. Now, I'm not a fan of geofencing in the first place, but according to Kagero technical support, not only does the Specta Mini have them, but these cannot even be unlocked yet. Now, something I didn't show in the testing is that I did take a trip to Class D airspace to see what would happen with the geozones. I was in an area that had a 300-foot max ceiling, and I did get Lance approval. I tried to launch, and although it did prompt that we were in controlled airspace and that I needed to unlock the geozones first, I simply canceled the prompt and was able to launch and fly just fine. Now, Kagero did say that they would be adding the capability to unlock the zones in the future, but until that time, if you don't do any firmware updates, the geozones won't prevent you from launching. Now, thinking about it, maybe I should have put this in the likes, not the dislikes column. A late addition to the dislikes, which I thought it was important to share. And that is that when I went into the quick shots and I started the circle mode, for instance, the resolution automatically changed from 4K 30 down to 1080p resolution. Now, at first I thought I bumped something or I did something wrong and had to do all of my footage over again, which was not very fun. I was very frustrated. And I went back and looked at the screen record I was doing at the time, And indeed, I did not push anything by accident. It was recording in 4K 30. I went into the quick shot and immediately switched it to 1080p. So that is a bug that has to be fixed. If you're recording in 4K 30 and decide to do a quick shot, it better not change the resolution to something else and make you look at it. It better stay in the resolution that you're in. So the kit that I was using today was the 1 battery kit, and it is available on Amazon, which is a bonus for the return policies and such. Overall, this is a great little drone, a really good flyer. And that being said, this is a decent drone for sure, but when I did the video for the Specta Air, I kept hearing things like, if it quacks like a duck, if it flies like a duck, if it walks like a duck. Sure seems to be a fascination with ducks for some reason, so perhaps I misspoke in that video. So to clarify, this is a drone. This is a duck. Drone, duck. Drone, duck. So I hope this clears up any confusion. This drone is indeed a dead ringer for the DJI Mini 2. The app is the same, it flies the same, and you know how I roll. I like to get information firsthand rather than guessing. And I did reach out to DJI and Audiio directly again, and they both claim that there is no connection between the two, which my sanity filter tells me is unlikely, but honestly, I don't really care that much either. If it is DJI trying to do something to circumvent the banned DJI hysteria, which in my opinion is not going to happen by the way, or to simply create an additional outlet for their products by white labeling different models and selling unique kits not available from DJI directly anymore, well, good for them. And on the other hand, if Audiio is truly creating these products from scratch and it results in more choices in drones and the quality, prices, and support are good, it's simply a win for the consumer, and I'm all for that. I've seen all kinds of conspiracy theories already, but honestly, why do we care? One nice thing is that because this is mechanically identical to the DJI Mini 2, this means that the accessories like ND filters, propellers, prop guards, all the various bits and bobs you might want to add to your drone are readily available from many places, which is a huge bonus. I did try the DJI Mini 2 battery, and it did fit, but it does prompt that it is not a Specta battery and it will not launch. So you'll have to wait for the original batteries from Audiio to be available. And I'll leave links for Amazon and Audiio's site in the description so you can check both of those out and see what's available. Also, I mentioned this in the Specta Air video, but I think it bears repeating. If I could have one piece of advice for Audiio, it would be stand apart with excellent service and support. A lot of consumers like myself will even be happy to help new companies out, but if the service or support is sketchy, or if we get incoherent doublespeak to our questions rather than solid resolutions, then the drone community will be picking up virtual pitchforks fairly fast. If we're reaching out, it's because we need your help. If we send an email, reply. So those are my honest thoughts, but tell me what you think. Thank you for taking the time to be here. I appreciate you. And until next time, the next video, good flying.